Hello friends, today I will continue with the video commentary on that Duel, the movie, and I will explain as we go along. So uh, I want to tell you a couple of things first, that here the Dennis Weaver role is the deity. According to hidden religions and so on, concealed or cults or whatever, there's that supposedly demiurge, and there's that other god, and so on. The other god is supposedly the one who lured us out of the world of spirit, all that stuff. So that's what Dennis Weaver is. The other evil truck god is, in fact, the God of the Muslims, or Abraham, right? The Arabs and all the children of Israel, supposedly, right? And that's Allah. And that's what he's talking about here, the duel between the two. Now, so far, up until this moment, he's portraying Dennis Weaver, or the God that probably 666 God, as the timid one, as the peaceful one, 149 peace, uh, and that guy is really the overbearing, overwhelming, dominant dictator type, and can't be farther from the truth, folks. And the world is not exactly like this or that. So we'll continue. There he comes. Do you recognize this guy? This weasel? He is the guy in the movie 2001 Snake Odessy. He's in the cage, remember? Who gives the meat, the beef to Cheryl, Miss Cheryl. You think I forgot? I didn't forget. That's him.
Whatever you
And he's
want, I got it.
and he's blue. Whatever he wants, he's master of all trades, right? Jack of all trades.
Hello with Ethel. If Ethel don't mind.
That's must be RFK's wife here. Okay, I'm gonna explain to you about those kicks. So he did one step first and then kicked, right? As if to say, this is a spacing, number spacing, like one, right? And then he did four, right? And then another kick, or a step, right? And then there's a two step. That's what I thought I counted. Let's try that again. One kick, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then kick, and then two. So that's what I thought I counted. Okay. There's one and one.
Want me to check on the hood for you?
And then there's the 4, and there's the 12, right? So what is the 12? The 12 here, I don't know. Maybe, again, I'm reading too much into it, but I don't think this was haphazard or random or perchance, or, it just happened that he needs to fill a slot in the movie, or, time, and then he did that. Number one, you don't see the guy; he's on the other side of the truck. So 1412, if that's what it was, that is a date, a number. What it is it's really in Spain. 1412, Spain. You know, like when the Arabs were in Europe, in Spain, France, Italy, and like 70% of France used to be like under their rule, and the rest of Europe was actually influenced a lot by non-rule, but they were there as well, including England, a huge migration into England. So yeah, if you're English, chances are you got some peninsula blood in you. Anyways, heritage, I mean. What I'm trying to say here is 1412 is when uh, eventually all that after 800 years of rule began to recede, right? Recede back into the peninsula and so on and so forth. These guys are not coward, basically. They were lethargic, they were near utopia in their state of affairs. And 1412 is when Grenada, which was the last bastion, Granada or Grenada, which is in southern Spain, that was the last bastion, right? And that was the last to fall, actually, but it fell in 1452, not in 1412. Why am I saying Granada? Because it's going to come up later. You will see. And what I'm thinking here is that that's when things started, you know, and then eventually culminated into 1452. But we'll see a little bit more later. Check under the hood. This guy is blue, and he knows Dennis Weaver, right, or whoever that deity is, and he's checking under the hood. Here is something similar to, uh, uh, you know, prior to going to war or anything else. You know, the rulers shake up the ranks, right, and know who's loyal and who's not, and if there's any cracks in the ranks, or you know, or some kind of would be mutineers, you know, things of the sort. So checking under the hood here, that's what it is. I think so. Could be the money too, you know, coffers, you know, check under the hood, make sure that you have enough finances to continue. Like, for example, now Israel is fully supporting Russia or Putin in his war against Europe. Otherwise, they would have collapsed in like the Soviet Union collapsed in Afghanistan by now in that aggression war against Europe, which started in Ukraine and was supposed to take over Europe. The first week or within the first 1 or 2 weeks of the aggression against Ukraine, the ruble, as I call it, fell down to like 164 against the dollar. But Israel issued orders, you know, or Zion, let's put it this way. And then they recovered it. So now, while everybody here in the US and Europe and elsewhere bark about supporting Ukraine, yeah, they're doing that. Why? Because there's an undercurrent against Russia in those countries, so they have no choice but to do so. However, they're supporting Putin a lot, right, to make sure that that country doesn't falter. The future is going to hold some surprises there.
Looks like you could use a new radiator hose.
Yeah, where have I heard that before?
I'll get one later, thanks.
So I did some mechanical work. You know, usually a radiator hose, and this will come up later, I'll mention. Has a clamp, right? You know, it used to be like they have a clamp and you tighten the clamp. I did some mechanical work when I was like between 18 and 21, right? In like a mechanical shop and so on. I did all kind of work. So sometimes that gets cut, right? And then it starts leaking. Any leak from the engine, antifreeze or water or whatever it is, any leak that springs, the car won't go more than 2-3 miles. You know, if you keep going at it, it'll just you will just destroy the engine. But that used to be the case sometimes. The radiator hose was cut by that clamp.
Oh boy. Not in my house, I'm not.
Okay, not in my house, I'm not. Right? Remember what I told you? I thought that that guy on the phone was talking in the voice or mouth of Dennis Weaver, meaningly that was that God talking. Now he confirms, not in my house, I am not, because he's no longer the boss. Remember my explanation. Okay, let me explain to you something about Jews and Arabs and whoever follow their model of family. Among the Muslims, or if they follow a model of the Muslims, that is man is the god of the family. Among the Jews, it's really the woman, but the treatment of the treatment is pretty bad, pretty bad. I mean, as you saw from the conversation, or not the conversation. Okay, let's wait a little bit here because it's going to come up. So here, 4 steps. So I took 1452 and added 40, and then there was that bump in the hood, right? He bumped the hood, maybe that's the 0, I don't know. So that gives you like within 40 years time between 1412 and 1452 is when supposedly the last Muslim rule of Europe ended or something of the sort. I think that's what it is. Evidence will come up to support what I'm saying.
David,
Yes, sir?
you got change for the telephone?
Yes, sir. I'll get you the rent later. Be with you in a minute.
This guy is issuing orders, right? He doesn't like him dealing or working with that guy, right? Or the other god. The two gods are like looking at each other now.
Operator, I'd like to call 659-0716. Collect. Dave, man, the number here is 238-2098. Thank you.
I don't know what that number means, but it could mean something. I can tell you this, they are probably not random numbers, but I cannot explain them either. I'm not part of that cult or hidden world of Spielberg or Masonry or whatnot it is. So I'm making observations, having lived in this world, which is close to those people for a long time. I began to notice, of course. Now here, the entry of the woman, I think what he's trying to say here is that deity, the god of the brown truck, that evil truck, right, is sending his minion to spy on Dennis Weaver to hear what he's saying, right? So that's what this woman is doing now.
Honey? There's me.
What's that? You have an accident?
No, there's nothing like that.
What happened?
Nothing happened. I just,
I mean, he just started driving, so why is she talking about accident? I don't know, maybe because he's calling now, or, why are you calling? Just do what you have to do, bring the money home, and meantime, you mother, the dog, your job is spare him in cash, and that's it. You get to eat.
all right.
So as you can see, looking at him, the camera is looking at Dennis Weaver, or whoever that god is, through a lens, right? So apparently here, what is being said is that God sent that woman to spy on him and hear what he's saying.
To apologize.
You don't have to apologize.
Guy is a bootlicker.
This morning you were asleep, so I just wanted to call you up and tell you that I'm sorry about last night.
Oh, I really don't want to talk about it.
No. Don't you think maybe we ought to?
No, because if we talk about it, we'll just get into a fight. You wouldn't want that, would you? Of course not.
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
I didn't count those pats on the shoulder or the arm, the taps or pats or taps, right? But they may be 12, maybe 9, I don't know. I don't want to count anymore.
Never mind.
Just a minute. No, I know what it's supposed to mean. I mean, it means that you think that I should go out and call Steve Henderson up and challenge him to a fist fight or something.
No, of course not. I mean, I think you could have at least said something to the man last night. I mean, after all, it...
Okay, as you can see, the two children, one is multicolored, blue, red, and so on. These are the squirts, if you will, the squirts in or the Oliver Twists, right? In the 2001 movie, or Oliver Twist 1948 BBC release. But what they're doing is, and one is wearing yellow and one is wearing multicolor, right? You know, black head, and one has like blonde hair or dark blonde. One has a robot, and behind the other guy is a Huey helicopter, a marker, or a very exquisite marker of the Vietnam War. Remember? So now that, saying that, you know, like these two, as if they're preparing for war, right? And the couch or the seat is in fact brown, right? So are they preparing war against the brown seat or the couch? I don't know. Seat usually means seat of power, of rule.
I've been trying to rape me in front of that whole.
So trying to rate here. So how timid and when can this Dennis Weaver be, right? You know, I tell you this: if anyone comes to pull a quick scam on my female, you know, in front of me, or if I'm aware of it right there and then, oh, some heads will fall. Some heads will fall right there and then.
Come on, honey.
Just forget. You gotta be home by 6:30?
She wants him home by 6:30.
Well, is it that important? Did you see him?
He's leaving for a.
I'm gonna explain to you something else here. Give me a second.
Just a minute.
And notice her attitude also. I mean, she's like slugging him out like a baseball, even though he's out trying to get her money and do things for her and so on. She's like, the look on her face is like the look of disgust and despise. You know, she's loathsome at him, right? You know, you're like freaking furniture. Remember in Soylent Green, the girl was furniture. This guy is furniture in the house too, right? And that seat is empty.
What's the name? It means that you think that I should go out and call Steve Henderson up and challenge him to a fist fight or something.
No, of course not.
And while she's wearing red, she's wearing a blue apron.
I mean, after all,
That's similar to Space Odyssey or 2001 Snake Odyssey. The spacesuit is a disguise, really.
I've been trying to rape me in front of that whole party.
Oh, come on, honey.
Just forget. You gotta be home by 6.
Okay, so behind here, above the fireplace,
Is that important?
you see something that you see some kind of
For a while in the morning. The way he's been driving to the front office, if I don't reach him today, I could lose the account.
You said it would be me
Okay, as you can see,
all the time.
behind here, you can see that there are these two things here. One is showing just right under her armpit, and the other one is here, right? And then something between them is like lower. This always, you see, always by way of Freemasonics, you know, they display that. Sometimes, you know, they do that, like two things and one thing in the middle. And like, so I don't know what that means. Either it means the Ark of the Covenant, or it means the head with two horns, right? And I thought I saw something else here. You know, I couldn't, you know, I couldn't see the pictures. The pictures above, you know, I couldn't see that. But then you could still see in the fireplace, there's that red Huey helicopter. And then these two boys, they're not boys really, they're preparing for war, or she's preparing them for war. One is a robot and one is a pilot, right?
But probably won't.
And again, the other deity is looking at him, right? And then when these two kids are preparing for war, you can see that again, that brown couch, which is that brown deity. Mr. Blue and Mr. Brown. Right?
Honey, I said there probably won't be a problem.
Well, just be on time, okay?
All right.
Right? His mother, I don't know about his mother. So you can see the lens. So he's being monitored by the other god. He thought he was going like he thought he was
Honey, I
doing.
said there probably won't be a problem.
Well, just be on time, okay?
Be on
All
time.
right. Okay, I'll be there.
So that's a Jewish life. A man is really basically a piece of furniture and he gets beaten, right? Maybe change between now and then. In an Arab life, no, it's the man that is the master of the house, and that's that. So action service is brown. Action, I don't know, like mafia action or wars or something. Laundromat is blue. They clean up, and the apparel is red or something. Does that mean anything? I think it does. Now he's tired and sick of them. He doesn't want to wait anymore. The sound of it is like this is like a despotic, scary deity, right? You know, dictator.
No thanks. Good enough. I'm back now.
Come back and see us. Again, that's 149 piece. If there's any peace, not in that car. I assure you, not in the blue shirt. There's no peace. Here he comes. Didn't take long, right? Evil truck. So here, I want to show you something about that evil truck. That evil truck, according to Steven Spielberg, he explained it in his interview here, right? And he, right, he said it's evil truck, the face and so on, but he didn't do a good job. However, this was stolen by Stephen King, right? And the movie I remember is called Maximum Overdrive, where these trucks run amok and so on. But then Stephen King tries to show you what he's talking about here. It is a green-faced devil or something of the sort, right? So there it is. Do you remember that movie, Maximum Overdrive? And then the story is by Steven Spielberg. The book is by Steven Spielberg, and these were trucks like roaming and about, running amok and marauding and killing and so on, and they keep like driving on their own until finally Stephen King manages to burn them. So that's the truck. Stephen King basically just put the face on it. Spielberg, like meant to do it, but he should have done some modifications or pimped the truck before he did that, so it looked like that. Here, I mean, to me, it's just a truck, right? Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I lost like something like 40 minutes earlier because the computer just went into blue screen or something.